to get Hope Central ready for the possibilities and what's going on. It's certainly been exciting to watch and watch him come in, and God just brought him to us, and his gift set for everything from solar to you name it. And so we're just real pleased to introduce him to those of you that are new, and those of you who have served with him, you'll enjoy getting to know him. So Chad, tell us what's going on in Haiti.
We've got a little video clip here. This is one of the local pastors, Pastor Francois. This is his church. Oftentimes when teams go down, they'll attend this church service. So. I feel kind of gypped on that. The high resolution one's really good. So Haiti, this is the base here. You can see the radio tower that was constructed at the end of the year, as well as a solar system, a 7.1 kilowatt solar system. This is the bus that was shipped down, and I'll tell you, things are really coming along there. We have a great group of people on the ground that are helping to facilitate the different projects and teams that come in. If you haven't been to Haiti, I think it'd be fair to say, for those of you who would agree, that it's just a different dynamic entirely. I mean, Nicaragua and Haiti is just a totally different world, just so to speak. And I encourage you to go at some point in time, not to steal you from the Nicaragua side, but I think once you get there, you find a combined passion for Nicaragua, as well as the degree of impoverishment that's in Haiti. There's been some really great, exciting projects going on, and as this base started to form and teams began going down, the first team that went down was a group of college girls, January 2nd of this year. The goal and focus is really to kind of keep a really laser pinpoint focus over the next 12 months, 24 months on 5 different areas of outreach and of ministry. So MSU, an agriculture aspect, we have the evangelism, we have medical teams that are going down. Inside of the evangelism is the solar radios. That radio tower that you saw was donated to us by Radio Luminaire, and then volunteers here that went on the construction team to get all that stuff put together. Was able to get it up and broadcasting in less than a week, which is really remarkable. 260 feet, Steve, is that right?
180.
180?
David Jones said he thought it was about 460.
It's like a fishing story.
I think it's only 180.
Okay, 180 feet up in the air. But, that Radio Luminaire broadcasts Christian radio to these people. You have to understand that out here in these really remote areas where education is very, very poor, most of these people don't read. So if you were to walk up and give them a Bible, they're not going to be able to do anything with it. Where if they're given a solar-powered radio that's dialed into that frequency, if they're located in the upper plateau of Haiti, they can listen to the Word of God. And as we know in the Bible, it says faith comes by hearing. So they can sit there and listen to that, and listen to evangelism, and listen to the gospel being taught, and listen to songs. It's a very unique and amazing way to be able to go out and reach the lost just by letting them hear. And then the Holy Spirit does the process from there. Next slide, if you would. Hope Central Haiti, Kim Bradley writing a a donkey. This shows you, oops, sorry. It shows you exactly how small the stature of the donkeys are. Sorry. Okay. Next one there. This is some of the home outreaches. So some of the teams that go down, because of the such poor environment, teams will take a day to go out and do home outreaches where food and rice and beans are taken out to some of the most poor. Our pastors there, which is a very dynamic and unique aspect, the way that pastors communicate and work together. Here in the States, not to say it's always the case, but we have Baptists and we have pastors, and they kind of maybe do their own thing, almost somewhat maybe a little bit of a competition aspect there. In Haiti, they very much draw together, and it's a brotherhood. And so these pastors will work together to identify where the greatest amount of need is, identify places where we can go and drop off food and actually minister. The girls that did this trip in January, going from home to home, were able to see people that came to salvation. They had heard about Christ. They knew that there was something there, but once they walked up and they were able to talk with them and explain the gift of Christ, they came to salvation, which is wonderful. Hope Central Haiti, part of the goal here is to develop a program that's going to help these orphans that are beside us at Haiti Home of Hope be able to transition into the real world. In Haiti, most of the knowledge or the vocational skills, the trades, are taught from father to son or mother to daughter. So the question is, when you have 43 or 48 children in an orphanage that go to school but they don't work side by side learning carpentry, weaving, sewing, how to work in the market, what skills are there for those children once they age out of the orphanage? And the unfortunate truth of the matter is not much. The goal with this vocational training program that we hope to have up and operational as soon as possible is to analyze and identify the trades that are most beneficial to children that will one day be aging out. So in some cases that would be the types of vocations that maybe are more sought after by U.S. NGOs that are working there, or trades like technology, phones, etc. Teach them a skill that will help to not only just give them a skill, but help to set them apart, ensuring their success by analyzing and identifying what would be best to teach them, and then open that trade school, teach them what they need, so that whenever they finally have really their first family, they'll be able to support them and ensure their success. Oh, now that's my last slide. So I have to quit talking. So things are going really good. What was that? Nothing?
Jamie said it wasn't me.
Jamie? One thing that I would like to share with you is as Project Hope and the directors continue to look for and identify what will one day be a director that's on base, a family or a couple that actually lives there. There is a need to be able to continue to develop the rest of the base, which would be expanding the upstairs and taking it to that next level. Right now we're using the base portion that was originally designed for the on-site base director as a dormitory. So we will have a bit of restrictions there, and I got to tell you, before things get much busier, considering we start off at the beginning of the year with just a few teams, and I think right now we're up to 15 for this year, we need people that are going to be able to be there on the ground overseeing this operation. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. And interestingly enough, the Lord has brought us some possible candidates there. But before that opens up any further, we need to look to the Lord to be able to build that second level so that we have a place to put teams. We also have some place to be able to keep the director and wife or children or whatever the case is in their own location, less something else like building a different location for them would be that, I guess, an alternative process. But the point is we need to move forward with doing something like that as soon as possible. Things are growing rapidly, which is great. But we do need people that are going to be there on the ground to be able to keep this functional. And from what I've seen with Project Hope, being a reflection of Christ is critical. Meeting the immediate needs of the people is critical. But one of the primary points of being able to do that is do it with not perfection, but do it exceptionally well. And provide an experience where people are encouraged to come back and serve and be that reflection of Christ. To go out and be able to serve wholeheartedly because they're refreshed, they're fed well, and they have some place that's comfortable to come back and get ready to go again. So I think that if I understand the mentality of Project Hope, I assume that you want to keep the same thing going for the basic need as well. So, any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
We can have Rick build us a band.
Thank you, Chad. Steve, this would be a great time to just plug in about that story about the radios, well run and stuff.
Sure, Jeff's got one there in his hand.
Could you go back to the picture of the radios?
Oh, yeah.
We just keep stumbling onto things that we never had any idea that God would ever have us do there. Literally, the radio station was a broken mission trip. A year ago in January, I had a group of lady nurses from Nashville I was taking down, and the night before the trip, due to some very significant safety concerns, I canceled the trip. And David Young went ahead and went because we had some business with the base camp. And because the team didn't go, David ended up staying at a place we lovingly call the Sweat Box. It's a guest house in Cordobuque. And he's there and he meets this 80-year-old missionary. And we've met a lot of people at this place over the years. It's really been a blessing. And they're talking, and David's like, "So what are you doing here?" And he said, "Well, I've been here since 1965, and I do radio stations for Radio Lumiere." He said, "Where are you guys at?" "We're in Peon." "Well, we'd love to have a radio transmitter in Peon, but because of the mountains," Haiti in Creole means mountains over mountains, "our repeater can't see beyond the mountains. So there's 680,000 people on the Central Plateau that don't have any Christian radio." He said, "We'd just love to have a piece of property and some folks that had enough money to keep a radio station running." So David was like, "We can do that." And so the next thing you know, we've got a radio station. And those radios cost $30 a piece. I order them 60 at a time. They're made by one place in Canada. And it's a captive audience. It's fixed to our frequency. You can't get in and dial it up to anything but 97.7. And we embed in there a Creole New Testament. And the picture of the lady on the left, about 3 weeks ago, David and I and a couple other folks were down there messing around. She's 71 and she's blind, and she had, according to Pastor Kleber, had never heard the gospel in her life, ever spoken to her. And we hit the button on that thing, and it's the Creole New Testament. And it starts, and I took a series of pictures of her. She's just holding that thing, and the tears are just running down her face. And if you think about what great fun it would be, not saying we older folks couldn't do it because we were doing it, but for a group of college or high school age kids, get on some backpacks and get some radios and get a couple of these young pastors that are energetic and interested in going out. And it doesn't take long to find people that are in desperate need of hearing the gospel. And that radio is an estimated service life of 15 years. And you think for $30, you can hand somebody the Creole New Testament and 24/7 radio for $30. And so, just a great opportunity, and I knew it'd be a cool deal, but until we actually went out and started doing the radios, just stunning. And I think about what Eric's talking about for fundraisers. I've probably got 10 people right now that I've never even discussed this outside of the close circle here, but I've got about 10 people who just friend of a friend has heard about this that are now sending me a check once a month for $30, $60, or $90. They're just committed to radios. And so we've got 120 on order. We're just going to keep buying them, and as teams go down, partnering with the pastors who, they have a lengthy list of people they know that are shut-ins, that are blind, that can't read. There's various estimates, but some approaching 88% of the people you'll interact with in Peon outside the city cannot read or write. And so, yeah, you could talk Bibles. We've taken Creole Bibles, but the first time I ever handed a Creole Bible out, I learned very quickly the person took it and they were looking at it upside down because they couldn't read, they didn't know. It's really a cool deal, and I just continue to be amazed how God lines us up in, look for broken mission trips, ones that are going terrible. Those are the ones that in my experience have turned out the best and opened doors to things you would have never thought about. And just keep that process in prayer, and we can find a lot of folks that like to take a little walk on the mountainside, and for $30, I mean, you could. Last thing, Jerry Beal, this elderly pastor who was such a great man to set us up the way he did, and he came in November and helped us do the radio station, the antenna. He said, you and I go through life with, we throw away things that in Haiti people would covet. He said, that radio will become that family's most prized possession. They will guard that thing with their life. And you're like, gosh, for $30. So.
It's batteries.
No, it's solar.
Solar.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, if it was batteries, you're like, and Haiti don't have any money. And so, yeah, it's solar powered, and that antenna, they wear it around their neck. The loop antenna is kind of like a lanyard. And yeah, 15 years is what Galcom, Christian organization that makes them, and they've really engineered them tough, and they estimate 15-year service life. Yeah.
Is there a website you people that so I can show it to people?
Sure. If you just do Galcom, I can't think it off the top of my head, just Google Galcom radios, and they're actually in Florida, but their manufacturing facilities in Canada.
You said it gets Cardinal baseball. And
GALCO. I'm not sure I've even told you this, Kim, but in that first order with Galcom, the first time I talked to them, it was just really amazing. I called down there and sent them an email, and the guy emailed me back and said, hey, call, we'll try to help any way we can. I called down there that first morning in January and said, hey, I'm responding to your email. And he said, well, we were anticipating your call. We've had our staff meeting, and we started at 8 o'clock. We've been in prayer for Project Hope for the last 50 minutes. I called him at 8:55, and he said, we're here to serve you, and once you get up and running, we have teams that are looking for places to go to hand out radios. So we can put teams together who will bring your radios down, and they'll go out and serve and pay their own way. And so they've got a ministry of their own to send out teams to facilitate the radio program. We'll be happy to accommodate.